Harrison Jones is also a card that's typically in Druid decks, and you might also want to scout around that. But typically, as the Paladin player, I would say you don't or you can't really play around Harrison Jones in Druid deck, so
Yeah,
maybe not as much of a concern.
It's a lot tougher. I mean, Muster for Battle is just going to make 1/3 weapons very often, or 1/4 weapons that you're going to use an attack charge, and so you're going to give your opponent 3 cards very often. And when you have to use True Silver Champion, it's usually because you don't have another reasonable play for it. So I think I like going with Paladin here too.
Before we continue, as this might be the last game of the day, I just want to thank everyone who donated today to Child's Play. We actually just reached over $600, so we definitely reached our goals, the goal that we specified of $500. So thanks everyone, and keep donating, guys.
Great tournament so far. Wow, we've seen so many good games.
Yeah, especially that Tice versus Savitz match. Oh my god, that would probably be one of the absolute best series of the entire year so far, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the best ones. That's probably the closest series I think I've ever seen. Is that one? It just every single point at every step of the way mattered.
Yeah, I guess none of the individual games were like quote unquote like super amazing, except maybe the last one. But just overall, it just panned out so well. It's just really tense the entire way, and I think every game was really close.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth between these two. So Sludge Belcher going to be the play here, and Aldor Peacekeeper, it's all right versus Sludge Belcher, but I certainly think he'd like to be playing something else. I think this Lotheb is going to be really key to him just being able to fight in terms of body for body. But having to use an Aldor Peacekeeper here just to get the ball rolling on something is not really what he wants to do. He wants to use these on sort of like a Dr. Boom minions in spots where tension's being created on the board by like Druid of the Claw facing down some other minions, and then he's using Aldor Peacekeeper to buy himself some tempo.
Yeah.
Thankfully for him, Kalento does not have the strongest turn right now.
There's just so many things in the Druid deck that you can Aldor that Sludge Belcher might actually be in the bottom half, and I think it probably is even in the bottom half. Only like Zombie Chow or Keeper that Grows, you'd be more unlikely to Aldor.
So Hero Power certainly going to be the play here, but where does he split this damage up? I think I would like to see him take out the Aldor Peacekeeper, but I think there's a really strong argument for taking out the Shielded Minibot.
The Shielded Minibot, I feel, if you take that out, you leave a 2/1 on the board, and it's going to be really difficult for your opponent to deal with it, especially one that's behind a Sludge Belcher. I mean, like, does he Consecrate now, or...?
Consecrate's not one of these cards. I think it just doesn't get a ton of value in this matchup.
Well, yeah, like typically you have to combo it with equality, right?
Yeah. So So what he's doing, I mean, this turn has basically bought him the tempo he was looking for. He's got it 3/2 on the board. He's at 29 HP. Sylvanas could still be a big problem for this board, though.
No time for games.
Yeah, Sylvanas. What does Paladin actually have to deal with Sylvanas in this particular board? Can he even develop the board any further now because Sylvanas is on it?
I think he can still go for Lotheb. I think he's fine just playing Knife Trickler and Aldor Peacekeeper too, though.
Yeah.
Now that he's drawn the Big Game Hunter, it makes such a big difference, like on this other Aldor Peacekeeper. Like without the Big Game Hunter, I think he'd be saving it.
Yeah. Another key point is that Frezar already has Tyr in his hand, but Kalento already has the Keeper of the Grove, exactly what he needs. And he actually had a different play, which was just keepering the Aldor the previous turn. But I'm glad he kept it because this allows him to be safer if the game goes on to turn 8, which I'm sure it will.
Yeah, I'd like to see him keep his Keeper basically as long as he can as well. Something like Tyrion, he doesn't want to have to face down a Tyrion that just blows him out.
Even though Tyrion, it can blow out a lot of matchups, actually, like, I think against Druid, if Paladin gets the Ashbringer, it's actually, like, somewhat okay, because every time you smack a minion with the Ashbringer, you take damage yourself. And, like, for example, when you kill an Ancient of Lore, that's 5 damage to your face already, and just ever so closer to the combo range.
Yeah, it just really matters how the game's been. Like, in this game in particular, the weapon matters so much because the players have stayed on such an even life total. Like it turned into a trading battle for Kolento really early on. It wasn't a pressure battle and then trying to get to the Savage Roar, a big Savage Roar turn as quickly as possible. Instead, he's basically just drawing big minions every step of the way. Wow, you know what actually is a really good play here from him too? Is to attack his...
To attack the Aldor and then keeper his own Sylvanas.
Well, I was just going to say if he just runs into the 5/5 and then plays Dr. Boom, he's going to have a big board position.
Okay.
Like I
guess that's the obvious play.
I was looking at like attacking this Aldor Peacekeeper because it's worth so much to do it, but I think it's worth more to just take the 3/1 and then play a Dr. Boom.
I also agree, but I thought you were going somewhere else completely different with that.
Well, the thing about it, the way he does this differently, I think, if he has something like mind control tech in mind, and he doesn't want that to be a big effect of it, because if he takes this 3/1 and then he plays Dr. Boom, he's open to mind control tech, which I think is something he's trying to avoid. And then at the same time, this is the other play that I think that is reasonable from him, because this is going to challenge Lotheb with the hero power twice in a row, and since this turned into a grind battle, that's like the exact position he wants to be in, and Sylvanas is still on the board. Like, this is a major looming presence right now, and this is not what he wants to be facing down.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations where after you do the play and your opponent looks at it and he's like, wow, like, this is actually really hard to deal with. What can I do against this?
The last thing you want to be doing is taking 10 damage from Sylvanas and having it still be on the board. Mm-hmm. This is one of the nightmare scenarios.
So there's actually a lot of you know what, like, he can go for the really lucky ping and he has 2 chances to go for it. Oh, there it is. Okay,
picks up on the first one.
And I think we're going to be even seeing you know what, you might not see a 1/1, because if he actually doesn't 1/1 here, or if he doesn't summon a Silverhand Recruit, he can summon Tyrion. But I guess next turn he has Dr. Boom, which is, I guess, always a really good play, unless the Sylvanas still sticks on the board behind a huge taunt. But wow, Swipe is also really huge now.
The other thing that's surprising to me is that both these players are throwing so much caution, or that, I'm sorry, that Frezar is throwing so much caution away from mind control tech, and it looked to me like Kolento was really mindful to play around mind control tech. Like, it felt like the scenario he didn't want to be in. And I feel like that same sort of thing is happening right now. Like, he has a really good turn with just running his Sylvanas into the Lotheb, picking up one of these minions and then playing a Dr. Boom, but he doesn't want to get something like mind control tech or have like a Consecrate and a big Game Hunter blow him out. Like, these are all things that he's thinking about right now.
Yeah, if actually he runs a Sylvanas into the Lotheb, steals like maybe not the greatest creature, and then summons a Dr. Boom, that, exactly as you said, the Big Game Hunter plus the Consecrate could just swing the board around.
Even something like a Muster for Battle in a Big Game Hunter could do a big job of that.
Okay, so he's gonna play the more conservative play and guarantee a steal on a 3/3.
Yeah. He wants a 3/3, and he's also playing around mind control tech. I think this is one of the bigger plays you can make. So just holding on to his Dr. Boom and to his Cenarius, this is like such diligent play. Now, he has used Keeper of the Grove at this point too. So just Frezar can't play Tyrion this turn, quite literally, because he used his coin. Do you think he's thinking about that now and going, oh, why did I use that coin? Why did I make that 1/1?
I think it's all right, because I guess you're not too afraid of dying next turn. Does the combo kill him right now? It's
14 plus 5 plus 4. So yeah, it's 23 exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah, Kolento is just really on point.
I don't think you can play around that though, but I guess he will. Okay. Well, you know, because he's leaning towards the true silver play, it actually plays around scenarios as well. And I think that was what Kolento was thinking with his previous turn. Even though this board looks really weak, if scenarios come down on the field, a really weak board can suddenly turn into a really strong board.
Yep. This looks like, to me, it's finally going to be a spot where Kolento does not have the option to play around mind control tech anymore.
Yeah, basically both his plays summon 4 minions.
It's so like, it almost feels like it's there though. Like, he hasn't seen Dr. Boom. Coin got used heading into a turn 7, so I don't feel like he thinks Tyrion is in his hand. I think that's part of the reason that he was influenced into playing Keeper that turn. Like, your opponent, like, what are these 4 cards in his hand that your opponent is not playing minions and they're playing True Silver Champion and making 1/1s? Like, what are these plays? What is his goal? And like, what range of cards could you possibly be looking at this point?
Now, Kolento has a very difficult decision right now. He has a choice of his big 2 baddies, and he can actually, even if he plays the bigger baddie, he can innervate a hero power out, or yeah, innervate a hero power out and clear the board. So what does he think is more threatening, the Scenarius or the Dr. Boom?
I really don't mind giving +2/+2 and then innervate hero powering the 1/1 away, because you get 2 5-power minions on the board. You played around mind control tech, and the True Silver Champion isn't threatening either one of them. I think it's actually a pretty solid scenario to be in. But I think also, at this point, you may just kind of like go, you know what? I don't really have an option anymore. If he steals this Dr. Boom, I don't have a way to play around that.
Ooh. As we were saying before, big game hunter and concentrate could be a play, but muster for battle is also a very good option. You summon essentially four 1/1 minions on the field. The problem with that and not clearing the boom bots with consecrate is that if you've been playing around combo the previous turn, if you just summon the 1/1s against these 1/1 boom bots and leave them alone, you don't play around combo this turn. So it's just an inconsistent line of play overall.
Yeah. Well, I think something else that's happening too is just the way the game's developing. Like, Kalento's having to consider playing Dr. Boom, and when Frezar's seeing that, he might be kind of taking that into account and thinking, you know what, my opponent probably doesn't have combo here. He's just going to go for it though, and this is still even pretty risky considering playing around combo, because the boom bots, I mean, their average is going to be 5 damage. So when he's at 19, his average life total is going to be 14 afterwards. So he still doesn't play around combo with a play like this. And Kalento finally gets his safe scenarios turn, where he's seen both consecrates get used. There's no True Silver Champion, and his opponent's minion is a 4/2. I think this is like kind of the dream turn that Kalento was looking for with this scenarios.
Unfortunately, the wrong player has drawn Harrison Jones. You can't really Harrison anything in the Druid's deck, so Tyrion will be the play. Can Kalento actually deal with this Tyrion though?
Yeah, Frezar needs to draw Blingtron.
Blingtron. I mean, if you run Blingtron, or if you run Harrison, why not run Blingtron, right? It's a combo.
Why not? You're welcome, Hearthstone community. Monk and I have built the next broken Paladin deck.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Paladin needs, is one more weapon. You don't get enough between Muster for Battle, Cog Hammer, True Silver Champion, and Tyrion.
Oh, wow. Savage Roar.
It's not quite enough, but it's getting really close. Well, maybe it is enough, actually.
I think it is enough, actually, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 8. Oh, it is enough. That's actually 12 exactly.
Well, there you have it.
Wow, okay, it is enough. I lied. Don't trust my math, because it's terrible.
Oh man,
right
Adam lied. All right, there you go.
Oh, he's actually 1 over. Jeez, I'm terrible at this game.
He's actually 3 over.
Oh, he's 3 over. I'm super terrible. I can't do math today for some reason. Kalento's going to take this series